Hi, welcome to Mountain Jim Card Collectibles. I hope you had a great weekend. Well, today I want to talk about what I like to think of as more Topps gaslighting. And really, the thing that I don't like about Topps is how they're always trying to create a narrative that really doesn't feel like the true reality of what we're living through currently. And basically, the narrative that I've noticed that Topps is always trying to, pump out or push out is this idea that the regular common man is like operating in the 1980s or 90s still, and they have a great opportunity to hit big sports card hits in, various retail formats. Now, I used to buy a lot of retail in the 80s and 90s, and that's the only way I really knew how to buy cards back then. I never really would go to a card shop or hobby shop. And, back in the 80s or 90s, the retail product was definitely put out in a much more fair manner, I guess, towards the consumer, as far as big hits goes. But we all know that, Topps Fanatics really pushes the secondary market at Fanatics Live, and Fanatics Collect. And we all know that those best cards are always given to the breaking companies over consumers, with the big prices, with the way that the sports cards are marketed. And that takes me to this post, someone might see this post and think, oh, this is my opportunity to go by Stadium Club and hit some big hits, all right? And hey, this is a nice 101. For Shohei Ohtani. He's kind of the man of the hour at this point in time. And, we'll see how far he goes this season, But, like it says here, Shohei Ohtani, Stadium Club Super Fractor Autograph. Yeah, great. Let's go ahead and click this. See what people are saying about it. You can see it's a 101, which I don't know why they kind of hide the 101. They should put out there, but anyway. Here we have this comment. As much as I love collecting cards, I am quitting. You guys make it more of a gamble than going to the casino. It's ridiculous, the price. Thanks for messing up the fun of collecting. Yeah. I've said it before. I never would buy a singles card in the 80s or 90s. Everything to me had to be ripped, But let's face it, you have to have a lot of cash, a lot of coffers. You have to have a big channel, I guess, Patreon, a bunch of people, buying your breaks, if you really want to be that guy. Here's someone showing off their Logan Webb auto, which, if you're going to hit an auto, that's probably what you're going to get. Not that he's a great pitcher. It's just, let's face it, he's not Shohei Ohtani. Stadium Club was such a bad set this year. Did you guys put any effort into it? That's just it, I've seen the stuff piling up at my local, Targets, Walmarts, whatever. There isn't much interest in it for one reason or another. I think it's just, if you keep, showing stuff to people and making them believe that they have a chance, and more often than not, they buy into it and they're just getting left with nothing for the most part. Pennies on the dollar, people start to kind of move away. And that's what I've noticed about Stadium Club this year is, Stadium Club was always one of those consumer-friendly products. But this year, I'm looking at prices at least in my area at $29.99 a blaster box. To me, it should be, maybe $15, $19.99, something, that's more comfortable for the consumer. And yeah, there's a lot of comments, it's a hot card, whoa, I want it. And, that's what Topps does is they always try to, show a narrative where they want common people who typically don't have a lot of money to believe that they have opportunities to get big hits. And it's kind of wearing off. People just aren't buying it anymore. Okay, and that takes me to a different slide. This just came out 22 hours ago. And really, this is the competing narratives, that Topps gives us, and that people out there who are actually walking around, hitting Targets, Walmarts, whatever. It's this competing narrative, Topps shows us, the best of the best for Stadium Club. Of course they do. Why would they want to show us just a normal, common, average box opening? Because there's no value in that, and they know it. So here we see, grip and rip. It says here, I can't help but wonder what would have happened if 2025 Stop Stadium Club included chromes. No way it would be like this, We know that they have more or less downgraded, Topps Stadium Club, for the most part. For quality, they used to put the Topps Stadium Club chrome cards in there for the most part, but anymore, Topps Stadium Club is just really watered down. Here's someone. They make Stadium Club Chrome, laugh out loud, comes out after regular stadium. Grip and rip. They got rid of that a few years ago. A lot of people don't realize, the changes that they've made to Stadium Club, 6 trillion packs produced to chase Ohtani's one of one. Is that really what's happened to baseball now? It's all about Ohtani? I mean, you can show this guy, you can show that guy, you can give me an Aaron Judge. It's like nobody cares about anything right now except Ohtani. It says here, production went up 169% or something like that. This is funny. The limit of 2 is silly after the product has been out 30 days or more. Plus, that actually includes packs too. I tried to buy 4 fat packs of Heritage Baseball and could only purchase 2. Ass backwards. Yeah, that's kind of messed up, for the packs too, but it is what it is. I mean, at least they're trying to be fair for the consumer, but, when you see these kind of death piles of Stadium Club, I have never seen anything like that at my Target. I'm going to put that out there. Or Walmart. I've never seen anything like that of any product for the most part where, just look at how much is there. I almost thought this could be AI, but then again, it likely isn't. I think it's awesome where it gets out on inferior products and those things die on the shelf. Yeah, let it rot, whatever, I guess that everyone's starting to just get burned out of the two-tiered consumer system that Topps Fanatics has rolled out. The first tier is always the breaking companies come first. They get the best quality cards, the best hits, whatever. Oh, because they buy the most, blah, 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 blah. But then we see the second tier, of cards. It's always these low-end cards where they really start pushing the retail products on everybody, like we're just chumps. But what gets me is more and more people are just kind of looking at the stuff going, no, it's just not for me. It's too much of a gamble. And I almost feel like these high prices on retail are really going to start to put a chokehold on the collecting hobby for the most part, because really that's where a lot of the hobbyists would go, is buying affordable stuff. That was meant for them. But let's face it, Topps Fanatics really just doesn't care. They like to lob out big prices on stuff, and for one reason, they just don't like to lower prices. Topps' self-inflicted wound was pushing Topps B&W because the images resemble those you'd see on Stadium Club, and the QC designs on them were so much better than Stadium Club. Removing chrome was the nail in the coffin and differentiating factor. Yeah. So there's a lot of reasons that I've noticed from collectors of why they don't like Stadium Club at this point in time, And I'm not sure why, Topps Fanatics, who has all this cash in their coffers, would go ahead and water down these products even more. If they have more cash, they could have bulked up these products, put more hits in them, put better cards in Stadium Club, Because I'll be honest, when I go and look at Stadium Club, I always want to buy it. I always want to purchase a blaster box, but I look at the $30, price tag for the most part, and I'm just like, no, I've been there, done that, and we all know that more than likely you're going to get maybe a quarter of the value, if not less. A quarter is giving it credit, SC was always almost sold out instantly. Product is pure shit this year. Even without the chrome, it's been overprinted. I haven't got Jack, you know what? And basically the same card inserts, not buying again. Let it rot on the shelves. Yeah, people are just getting pissed off, Now, I don't blame them, I mean, to me, Stadium Club was really awesome when it came out in the 90s. It's still one of my favorite card sets, to be honest. I always liked the pictures, but under the Topps Fanatics banner, we see what it's becoming. Just a cheap, watered-down product that nobody really gives a damn about, for the most part. I'm sure there's areas of the country where you go in and it's flying off the shelves. I always get those messages when I do these type of videos. People always like to say, well, it's flying off the shelf in my neighborhood. And hey, lucky for you. But for a lot of places, I just have a sense that Stadium Club for 2025, the way that they rolled it out, after 2026 Top Series 1, it's just really become kind of a shit show. This year's Stadium Club was the worst of all time. The QC was all-time brutal. And I have heard things about the QC, I mean, bad corners, bad edges, I mean, who wants to spend a lot of money to hit a 1-of-1 that's all messed up, you know what I mean? Yeah, you hit your 1-of-1, but we like high quality cards. I bought 2 megas and a hobby from Topps. Big meh, with almost no numbered cards, which used to be the chase for me in that set. They took a premium product and dumbed it down for retail, and now look at it. Yeah, it's watered down. That's what Topps Fanatics does for your common consumer, They don't want to give the common consumer much of anything, And why is that? Because we all know it's about Topps Fanatics Collect, Fanatics Collect, Fanatics Live, so they can go ahead and resell their best cards on the secondary market and put it in their coffers even some more, I mean, yeah, hey, that's great for their business, but let's face it, it's really turning off the consumers anymore, isn't it? It's the quality control. I love the actual cards, but my God, they feel cheap. Doesn't help the inserts are horrendous looking. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure about a lot of these Topps Fanatics artists. I know that they hype them up because they're tied in with Topps Fanatics, but, I've said it before, I'm just not impressed with it. I wish they would have gone more of a route like, Downtown or something like that from Panini for inserts. I just, there's so much about Topps anymore and Fanatics that it's just turning off the consumer and me as well, I'm just not excited like I used to be for this stuff. And a lot of it has to do with the company who is putting the stuff out, Michael Rubin, Anytime I feel like I'm giving dollars to Michael Rubin, I just really feel kind of sick to my stomach, to be honest. You know what I mean? Because it's like the guy's ruining the hobby, It's like, what's he going to do with this money? Is it going to make this hobby 100 times worse, than it already is? Because the way it's going, I mean, we can clearly see the Topps Fanatics, the business model when it comes to selling cards here. Let's give retail consumers the most watered down product imaginable, pretend it's something that it isn't, try and hype it up with a few 1-of-1s on, the Topps website, the Topps X site, whatever, And overall, people just aren't buying into it, Like I said, a company with that much money, why would they choose to water down the product over, bulking it up with better stuff? It just doesn't make sense to me, other than they're greedy and selfish. And really, that is the only thing that this company cares about, is the money. And this is what you get, People just aren't buying the narrative of 2025 Topps Stadium Club, And they can show us all the damn pictures of Shohei Ohtani 1-of-1s that supposedly came out of the product, Hey, that's great, I guess that gives Topps an ego boost, Topps Fanatics. But hey, for the consumer is just looking at this going, what in the hell is this? And that's kind of the narrative I keep seeing rolling out from Topps, is that retail is the way to go. Yeah. But what's funny is I'm seeing it day in and day out. People are getting repulsed by a lot of these Topps Fanatics retail products. And I'll say it again, rather than watering down the product, why not bulk up the retail product, I've said it before. I just don't even feel like there needs to be a retail product. I mean, let these guys sell hobby, so people will have a chance of getting better stuff, with better odds, But hey, you know me, I'm just kind of a lone voice on the internet that really just kind of gets snuffed out at the end of the day. So anyway, how do you feel about all this? Are you buying into the narrative, or are you just kind of moving on? Do you think the Top Stadium Club rollout was horrible with its timing, with its watered down product? I'd like to thank my subscribers, for watching my shows, and I'd like to thank my viewers as well. Anyway, I hope you have a great day. I'm out of here. Bye.